Right. Don't know what the audio is like for everyone, but if I'm a bit too loud, then say and I'll see it in chat, hopefully. Right. So today's stream, I'm planning on doing something. I'm not planning on mapping for most of this stream. I'm planning on actually overhauling the pause menu screen. As you can see here, I got a little sequence for it. I made a little GIF of it. So I kind of know how I want it to be. So I'm going to be programming that in RPG Maker. If my voice doesn't sound very interesting, then my apologies. Yeah, I'm not a very I don't have a very interesting sounding voice. But yeah. So firstly, what we've got to do is make the class. So Pokemon pause menu scene. Yeah, I have a previous pause menu, but I'm not so fond of it. So I'm at the moment, so I'm gonna replace it with a new one. So what do we need first? Need a def pb start scene. So that we can initialize everything. So we want viewport equals viewport. Nope. So that starts at 0, and it's the whole screen. Dot width graphics dot height. So yeah, that's basically gonna cover the whole screen. And then I think I had another one. Yeah, I did. So I'm just gonna copy that. So that's gonna be viewport 2, and that starts at 344, and it's got a width of 168. Also, apologies if there's any like background noise. It's been really hot over here in the past couple of days, so like I've got to keep my windows open. Otherwise, I'm gonna boil. Yeah. Then viewport.z equals 9,999 for now. Then viewport2.z is equal to like the same. Right. So then, what else do I need to do? I need to get the array of sprites working. Sprites equals. So that way I can declare everything like sprites. Blah. Sprite dot new viewport. Except it's not actually going to be called that, and also so this first one's going to be called overlay. Let's see. I also need an outline. So sprite's outline equals sprite.new viewport, and let's see, also need the moving pattern. So that is going to be pattern, and that's going to be in viewport 2. Also, that is not actually going to be a sprite, that's going to be an animated plane. With an animated plane, you can just continually, in the update function, move along its coordinates, and it will automatically loop back around. You don't have to worry about that. Whereas if it was a sprite, then you would have to put in an extra line of code to make it loop back around. And I think it's a bit slower as well. And then lastly, because of the way this is done, I need some kind of fill that comes in to do the flash, although I might change that actually. I might not do the little white flash at all, so I'm just going to call that fill. So yeah, that's all of the sprite declarations sorted. So starting with fill, I had the dot bitmap equals RPG cache, if I can spell that right, dot picture. That was going to be pause. Hang on. Yeah, it's pause menu. Like, it won't be in this new stuff folder for long. Once I finish this, all of this will get changed to, and the old pause menu will get moved out. So that needs to be menu fill, I think. If I just, yeah. And the Y position of that is equal to graphics.height, because we want it to spawn off the screen and then kind of move up. Was it up? We want it, yeah, we want the fill to come and move upwards, so it's going to be spawned at the bottom of the screen. Whereas the, what is it, the overlay, was it? No, the outline is going to be spawned at the very top of the screen, so if we just do that now as well, the outline.y is going to be equal to 0 minus the sprites.outline.bitmap.height. So usually with sprites, when they get initialized, if you were going to rotate it or something, it would always rotate from the top left of the sprite. So accounting for that, if it was initialized at 0 in the y-axis, then it would still be on the screen, but if we subtract the height from it, then it'll be off the screen. So that's the mentality behind that. I need to initialize it, the x as well, so is equal to 344, and finally the actual bitmap for it, dot bitmap equals rpg cache dot picture pause menu new stuff. What did I call it? menu outline. So if I just take that and put menu outline there, then that should be everything we need for that. Right. I'm also just going to put some comments here as well, because those are absolutely necessary to make this code readable for later. So menu outline. That's going to be the menu pattern. So then, on the topic of that, we are going to the bitmap. Just going to copy this line. And the menu pattern is that, so there we go. And we don't set the X and Y position of it because it's just where it needs to be in viewport 2. It'll initialize at 0, 0, which is actually 344 and 0. So it will initialize exactly where it needs to be, and it will just wrap around nicely and seamlessly. And then we make it invisible until we need to make it not visible until we actually need to do that. So then gonna make a new function called pb load menu. So that's a function call. So the next bit we do is the actual animation. So this is gonna be this bit here with the little transition. It'll be a bit faster than that. The GIF is just a little bit slow. Okay, so what we're gonna do for this. So we're going to want some loops, so 12 times do, I think 12 should be fine, because if we move it up by 32, I'm just going to grab a calculator actually. 12 times 32 is equal to 384, which is the height of the screen. So yeah, that works nicely, because if we loop 12 times and at the end of each, and in each loop we move sprites dot fill dot y is equals 32, so that's going to move it up by 32 each frame. And then we also want a pb weight, so that it doesn't do it instantly. It actually you're actually going to see the movement instead of it just be there all of a sudden at the end destination. So we're going to wait one frame. Wait for one frame, and here we're going to move the sprite up. That's going to be down, yeah, down by 32 pixels. So that's the fill. We're going to want to do the same with the outline. So actually, if I just copy that comment as well. So this one is going to be a plus equals, and we are also going to want to change that to outline. We're also going to take this change this to overlay. Speaking of which, we didn't actually do the overlay sprite, so and this is just going to hmm. 255, because that's the maximum opacity we can use, divided by 12 is equal to 127. The closest we can get, let's see, let's try 12 actually, because 12 divides, if we set its initial opacity to like 144 or something, that divides really easily by 12, because it's just 12 squared, so we can, yeah, let's try that. So if we go back up here, so the thing we forgot, so we want this to be, we don't need an image for this, we literally just need a bitmap, so equals bitmap dot new. So stop. Graphics dot height. Because now that we've done that, the bitmap equals bitmap.new bit, we can then go dot bitmap dot fill rect. So we can basically fill it with a color. Fill the rectangle with a color. And the rectangle's width and height is the same as the screen's width and height. So in this case it will be 512 by 384. So 0, 0, so that's the start x and y. And then graphics, just plug these in. We then also need a color dot new 0, 0, 0. God, I wish we didn't have so much noise outside. It's really bugging me. I might have to close my windows at this rate if it gets too noisy. So we're also going to set this to be invisible, but not in the same way as the pattern. Yeah, so the pattern is just not going to be visible, and suddenly we're going to flick it on to be visible at some point. But with the overlay, we're going to make it more visible as time goes on. And since because the overlay is the bit here, oh, I don't have it here, but we're basically going to make the screen go darker as the transition occurs. So we're going to change that to be 12. So not that, we want that instead. Too used to using C++ and C# for that. So we're going to that's going to load the menu transition. Is there anything else we are missing? Yeah, we're gonna want to flick the pattern to being visible. So we call it pattern dot visible. If I can type, so suddenly this is going to become visible. And then I think we're going to want to wait for a bit as well. We're going to want to make the program wait for a couple of frames. So pb wait, and we're going to wait for I think 8 frames is probably enough. Frames aren't very long, so it should be fine. Then we're going to have another loop. So let's see. Back to the old calculator again. So 255. How are we going to divide that? Does it divide by 50? Yeah, it does. So if we go change this to 15 times, so this is going to loop 15 times, and then change this to fill dot opacity minus equals, and then what was it, 17. So it's going to go from like in 15 loops by and losing 17 points to its opacity. It's going to end up being having an opacity of 0 after it, like at the end of the loop. So that's what we want. Then we are going to want to just change this comment here. So this is going to be decrease the opacity by 17, and don't need this. Actually we might, I'm not sure. And then of course we're going to have the PB wait for 1 frame. What else are we going to want? Let's try that. Let's see it. Let's try that and see if it crashes on us yet, because it's going to try and probably use things from this class as well, because it's the same class. So if we go call this pause menu concept, so we're going to load. Nope, really doesn't like that. Why doesn't it like that? Line 18. Oh, it would help if I could spell properly. Right, let's try that again. I think the worst thing about this, about the RPG Maker editor, code editor, is that it doesn't underline problems, so you have a lot more of a problem with it. Again, would help if I could spell. What line is that on? 32. Yeah, it doesn't underline spelling errors and stuff like that, so you can't tell. Sometimes you can't tell if you've typed something out wrong, or if it's just wrong because of something else. So many errors. Line 37. Was that meant? That's not meant to be an animated plane. That's meant to be a sprite. That's why. Right, let's try that again and see. We've already had 3 errors on loading this up. Oh, what happened there? Okay. I think that is meant to be in viewport 2, actually. So let's try that again. There we go. And then it doesn't like the opacity because I spelt it wrong. There is a recurring theme here, and it's always to do with the fact that I cannot spell for crap. There is also something I forgot as well, because the fill is coming in and going over the outlines, so I need to, from the outlines X position, I need to subtract sprites.outline.bitmap.width, and then it will load in a little bit further out, but it won't be, but the fill won't completely cover it. So we get that. So we're still going to have some errors because, as I said, we're basically overwriting the previous pause menu, which is the same class. But yeah, but that won't happen once we're finished with this. So this is that's basically the transition that we want. So now that we're done with that, I should also comment that. So that's the makes the screen darker. I'm also going to, that's what I was going to do. At this point we're going to move the pattern along, because we want the pattern to be animated, so of course we're going to go sprites pattern dot ox minus equals 1. That should move the, let's see, yeah, that should move the pattern along by 1 pixel. So it does that. We're still not done with the transition yet. There's still a couple of things we want to go over. So now that we got the actual background in place, what we're going to want to do is do all the panels. So as you guys can see here, I've got the panel here, and we've got all of this stuff as well, all the icons. So that's what we've got to do next. So if we, how do we want to do this? Because in this menu I had all of these sprites, and I don't want to have to do that again. So I think what I'm going to do is initialize an array. Yeah, I'm going to create a new array. So I'm going to call these panel sprites, and that's going to be, so we're going to go options arrays, because we're also going to want another one called icon sprites. So this is going to be the menu panels, and this is going to be the menu icons. Then we're going to want to basically go through every single array, every single possible item in the array. So every single icon that's going to be on the screen, and basically set its sprite, set its position, and all of that. So if we go back here, you'll see I've named them menu icon 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That makes this perfect for the this makes it perfect for looping through an array. It's almost like I planned it. So sprite. So if we go, not sprites. How many have we got? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, including 0. So there's 7 elements in the loop. So I in 0 to 7. So it's going to loop through 7 times. Put the end there. So we're gonna want to. This is going to loop through arrays. Create so if we take this and go panel sprites I equals icon. What are we going to want? What are these? Icon panel dot new. And we're going to have to copy over some of Klein Studios stuff, because this was made using the black and white Pokemon Essentials black and white pause menu script. So icon menu. What's this? Icon panel dot new. So that's this. And that's made from icon sprite. Okay. So what we need for that is a starting position. So it's going to be, let's see. I didn't initialize any icons on that. Looks like I'm going to have to delve into Photoshop. And yeah, that's another interface I'll probably work on off stream, but yeah, right. It's working in pixels, that's annoying. Inches, I mean. I'm going to initialize it at 8, and the y, we're going to go 8 plus, we're going to want to do I because, and then multiply it by something, and then of course we need to do view, if I can spell, viewport 2. So both of these are going to be in viewport 2, so they're going to be initialized at like most of the way across the screen, plus 8. So what are we going to want to times this by? This is 88 pixels high, so that means it's each panel is 44. So if we do I times 44, then that should be fine, yeah. And then we do the same for icon sprites. So if I just copy that, change that to that, and then I'm going to want I want these to be initialized a little bit higher, because these are the actual icons. That's all of these. So yeah, they're going to be initialized a little bit higher, higher up the screen. Then what do we want? Next I'm going to want to actually go and raid this stuff. God, where does it go? So if I go and copy this and put it up here, because this is not my stuff, so yeah. So I've got to make sure I don't take credit for that. This bit is more of me. Right, that's so that's the initialization. So next, what we're going to want to do, now that we got the icon panel and icon menu thing classes in here, I won't get any errors on these. So let's see, let's try running that. It's gonna crash still, but oh right, I need to start doing some other things as well with this. God, of course, I haven't set the bloody haven't set what the images are going to be yet. I should probably do that. So bitmap equals RPG cache dot picture what's the image called? Menu panel. So that's going to at least show us the panels in place, hopefully, before it crashes. There we go. So they're all, as you'll notice, they're all clumped together at the moment. So also, I've just realised something. I'm going to have to change this as well. So what's the dimensions of this? 160 by 88. So I'm going to want to 44, 160, 44. So that's going to be like that. I'm also going to want to, I'm going to want to space these out a bit more. So if I try 64, I also need to do the deselect thing as well. So if I go dot deselect, nope, it does not like that. Why does it not like that? Hold on, is it called? No, it's why is it unselect? It should be deselect. Just change it in there. Cause fewer problems down the line. That's probably a little bit too spaced out for my liking. So again, we'll go and change that. This bit's a little bit fiddly, so let's try. Deleting a bracket. Let's try 56, 54. Let's try 54 because 44 is too few. 56 is too much. Like 64 is too much. So I think 54 might be a safe bet. Let's try that. Yeah, I like that. That's good. Okay. Next, we want to start initializing the icons as well. Now I believe, hold on, because this is an icon. This is an icon menu, and I don't think they have the same. No, they do have the same way of initializing, but what is it? Where is the? Yeah, we got to use the set bitmap function instead of the typical way. So instead of using this way, we've got to do this instead. So that's. We've also got to add all the graphics, pictures. That's not going to be menu panel. That's going to be, what is it called? Menu icon. And then instead of the 0, we're going to want to go hashtag curly brackets and put I. Yeah, we're going to want to put I in the center of that. All panels. And we're also going to want to use the set active. I think it's set active. Yeah. Set active. False. And if I just take that. So let's try that. And there we go, there's all the icons. Yeah. Right, next we are going to initialize the text on here. Oh, there's another thing we need to do quickly outside of this. We need to so if I just take both of these, take these away, and replace these with 0, because that's going to be the first element. This is the first element in the array, so we're going to want to go dot visible equals false if is it? I believe it has a. I believe it has a trainer dot. If I just quickly trainer dot Pokédex. Yeah, it's this. So if we find where we were before, oh, there we go. So we're basically going to put that, but put an exclamation mark in front of it. So what this does is returns a Boolean. So it returns true or false. And so basically, if there's an exclamation point in front of it, it's basically saying if this is not true. So if so basically the very first element in the array, which is going to be the Pokédex, is going to be invisible if the trainer does not have their Pokédex, which is what we want, because you know, if you don't have the Pokédex, then you can't see the Pokédex option. And then this is also going to be the exact same. So then there's also another thing we need to do for the second element in the array, which is let's go into this one because I think it's already done in this one. I don't know why I didn't just go into this one before. Let's take this trainer party.length because we can just go. We don't even need the exclamation mark. We can just say is less than 1. So if they have fewer than 1 Pokemon, if they have less than 1 Pokemon, then they will not be able to see the party menu either. Let's just make sure that works. Yep, all of that works. Because I already have a Pokemon in this current save. But if we were going to load a new save, which I will have to test that later, make sure it actually works. But yeah. So yeah, that works very nicely. Right, so that's basically story stuff, I'll call that. Pokédex / party invis until they receive the dex / starter. Right. Next, we are going to want to do the text, so we know what each icon is. So if we do sprites, there's a lot of sprites in here. Sprites. Let's call it overlay. Let's call this text, not yext. Text. Equals bitmap sprite dot new, I think, and then we're going to want to put the graphics width, graphics height, and I think we also need to pass in the viewport, so we're going to want to initialize it in viewport 2. Along with all of our icons, and then what else? We need to make sure that we clear the bitmap. So bitmap dot clear. So basically, we're going to want to flush out what was in it previously each time we load this and load the new stuff. So that basically refreshes it. Text. Next, we're going to want to elsewhere. We're going to initialize the text. So if we at the very end of this function. So what is this correlating to? Corresponding to, should I say? That's the very end. So if we go here and define a couple of things. So what we're going to want to do is, hold on. We're going to want to define the color for it, so that we don't have to define the color individually for each one. We can just pass in these little variables, these little color variables. So if we go base and shadow, and that's going to equal color.new. This text is going to be completely white. So 255, 255, 255, and then the shadow color is going to be equal to, let's go around and fiddle with Photoshop for a bit. Hold on. Let's try 164 by 164 by 164. I think I like that actually. Let's do that. 156 all around. So those are our base and shadow color. You may notice we also haven't put a at sign before these ones because these are local variables. These aren't going to be used outside of this function, so there's no point putting those in there if not. Whereas these are going to get used later on as well in other functions, so in other defs basically. We're then going to want the PV set system font, is it? Hold on. If I go PV set system font. There we go. Grab that. And put it there. Hold on, we don't want the name bit, I don't think. Sprites. And whatever we called the sprites text. So, text. Dot bitmap. Okay. Next, so this is going to be text stuff. Right, next we're going to want to God, I wish people would outside be quiet. I'm just going to go and shut my windows for a bit, so I'll be right back. Right, so now we're back. That was quick, but just people outside are too noisy. So, right, if I just get back up what I had before. Twitch chat as well. Right. So what we're gonna want to do is create a text. Text equals that. Then go text dot push. So this is a list basically. And what we're going to want to do is push incl Pokédex at where do we want to put this? Let's try 32 by 32. So we're going to just do these random numbers first, and then we'll see how the placing is. If we'll do that later, because this is going to be the Pokédex, so of course we want the if trainer.pokédex. Actually, I see no reason why we wouldn't put that in now, while it's on the mind. Trainer.pokédex. Is that right? Yeah. Right, and then we're going to add more stuff here later. But for now, we just want to make sure it works. So if we go PB, what is it? I think it's PB draw something. Draw shadow, draw shadow text. Is it PB draw text positions? Yeah, it is. So if we go back to pause menu concept and go like that, and pass in the sprites text dot bitmap dot text. I think that's all we need. So if we go try that, see how it goes. Doesn't like that. What have I done wrong? What did I do in the previous one? Because I didn't use any text, but it was still, I just took it out, but where is it? It wants, okay, let's just try that. Okay. Oh wait, hang on. I know what I've done wrong. Don't need to change that at all. It's not a dot, that's not meant to be a dot there. It's meant to be a comma. There we go. As you can see, we've got the Pokédex on the screen. It's a bit too far down, and not far enough in. So, and I think the color's okay. So the base and the shadow are okay. So, let's try putting this to 64, and I guess let's try 16 with this. That looks okay, kind of. I think I want to just move that up by 2 pixels, so if I go 14 instead. Yeah. Okay, so there we go. That looks okay. I think that looks good. So next we can go and start pushing more stuff in, more text. So if we go Pokemon, we're also going to want to push the bag. Ooh, this is going to be an interesting one because we need to also push the trainer card, and that's always. Hold on, let me just see something. Okay. So if I copy that, paste that there, take away these. Okay, right, okay, so I'll just copy that. Then we want save. Options and exit. then we're going to want to do something for this, because these are currently all being initialized in the exact same place. The exposition is fine, but we're going to want to spawn them further down, depending on where. So, what do we want? Okay, let's go. Oops. No, that's not going to work. Okay, so the way we did the other ones was in a for loop. We used the 8 plus. Basically, the bit that we want is the plus I times 54 bit. Except what we're actually going to do is go, because 14 is the base y. So if we go 14 times like 0 and 1 and 2 and 3 and stuff, so yeah, if we punch that into our calculator, then that should be all fine. So 14 plus. Actually, no. I'll use a proper calculator for that. So where did I put it? God, I did have a proper calculator around here. There we go. Handy calculator. So if we go 14 times 54, like plus 54 times 0, that just gives us 14. Then if we go 1, that gives us 68. So if I'm just going to take this out. So the Pokemon text is going to be initialized at 68. Then if we go 2, then that's going to be 122. And the trainer card is going to be times 3, so that's 176. Then the save icon, so that's 4, is 230. This is going to be 284. And last but not least, the exit option is going to be at 338. So let's check this out and hope that I've done the maths correctly, because I'm positive I have. There we go. Look at that. Look at that. That looks pretty good. Just put the calculator over there. Okay, so now that we've done the text positions, it's time that we do a little bit more of the functionality. Now that we got the little transition out the way and everything spawns on the screen, we can do that. Also, I just want to see something as well. Before we do this base color stuff, we could have another loop for the array. For I in 0 to 7, because that's how many array elements we've got. Then if we go 5 times do. So we loop 5 times. Let's try 5. Where is it? If I just go and steal this from here, go back to here, indent this properly, change that to I, and put these, take these out. Then we're going to want to go opacity plus equals 51, and this can also go plus 51. Just going to load back up the calculator. Yeah, there we go. So that's going to, and then we need to go back to the initial array as well, so that we can make each element invisible. So we're going to go yet again. Actually, I'm going to go back here and take them from here. So opacity equals 0 and opacity equals 0. So then we're also going to want, in this for loop, we're also going to want our good old PB weight 1. By 51. Yep, like that. So let's try that. So that should, there we go. That looks cool. Looks pretty snazzy to me. All the while we're also going to want to move our pattern along as well. So sprites, pattern dot ox minus equals 1. So it's gonna still be animating as we go along, as it's loading. So it's gonna look like this, and that looks very nice and smooth. So if I just take that and put that there. Okay, what do we want next? I think we've still got some stuff to do here as well, but once we are done with that, we can move on to the functionality stuff, and we might actually get this finished in this session, which would be pretty cool. Right, what have I still got left to do? Oh yeah, I've still got some extra methods to implement after this. Right, so after this method we're going to draw text. Yeah, def pb hide menu. Actually, I'm just going to copy these in from here because they're not going to change. Okay, so want this. Just plop it down here. And I'm just going to take these as well. and place them in here like this, because that should stop giving us errors, hopefully. We, as well as this, we also need to dispose of the all the icons and stuff. So if I just take those and plop them down here, take this and put that there, copy that line, put that there, take the icon sprites, and boom. So that's that will clear up everything. We're still probably going to get a crash. Yeah. What else do we need from here? Oop. Yeah, we still need quite a few things. Okay. I'm going to take all of this as well and just copy it over. Because that all comes from before the start scene text. Drop that there like that. Control H. Just replace that. Deselect. Cool. We also don't even want all of this in here, because this is all the panel stuff, so all we actually want is panel sprites. Oop. I won't delete it first, I'll put panel sprites dot deselect and icon sprites dot set active false. Then we'll delete all of this. So that should be a much smaller function that we've got. Okay. Next, we've got stuff. Got beef with up here. We can take this if out and this. We can outdent that. And just change this to pattern dot ox minus equals 1. So that's going to move the pattern along by 1. 1px. Okay, then we're going to want to change all of this as well. So yet again, if we go down here, take this stuff, oh, hang on, I did something wrong. We're going to want a for loop. I in 0, 7, yet again looping through the array. You're not meant to be outdented, you're meant to be indented. Then we're going to go and add the index. Like that. Right. Then we can copy this. Go back up here. So we can go and start popping these here, like that. This will go above here, and this is going to go select instead. And this is because this is the first element in the array, 0 and 0. and then we're going to copy this first and plop it down here. So it's going to be 1. Then we can go take this stuff. And delete that. We might also want to put on here if trainer.party.length is greater than 0. So then it's a simple case of going through and replacing all of this stuff. So that's going to be 2. There's going to be 3. Someone with a noisy motorbike outside. There's going to be 4. This is going to be 5. And this is going to be 6th. The 7th element in the array. Okay. Then I'm just going to change this to down. Oop. And this to up. And then hopefully we should be just about done with the menu, actually. No, we won't be, but what did I do there? 163. Oop, if. Right. There we go. Look at that. We have some functionality. These don't do anything. Oh, they do. They call from the previous menu, that's why. Okay. But we don't want it to call from the previous menu. We want it to call from our menu. So, there's still some stuff we have to do after this. I don't know if you guys can see this also, but we also have I don't know if you can see it, but we also have it looks really nice and seamless here, the way it scrolls. So yeah. Right. Next we're going to want to copy this next class from down here, because this will be all of our stuff. This will be all of the functions to call the menu items. So if we just put that there, let's try this now. Let's see what breaks. So if we go Pokédex, it's what are we missing? What happens if I just take this and move it there? So the very original pause menu is now above it. Still doing it, so it's something wrong with our menu. What? is wrong with our menu? Is the question. I'm not entirely sure what's gone wrong. It might be because of the viewport.z. Let's go and try this. Nope. Let's take a 9 off that. It might be that it's higher than the rest of the viewports being loaded. There we go. Okay, right. Now, I think we're actually done with the menu. So now we just have a very nice looking menu like this. Might be a bit slow for people's taste is the only problem, so I might have to change bits of that. But we're done with the menu now. At some point later, I probably will do this off stream, but I'll actually start implementing this. Been working on it a little bit. So yeah, once I'm done with the actual mock-up of it, I'll start implementing it. Because this is the bag. This is going to be the bag, so this will have all the items on here. And yeah. So let's take that out. Go back here. So I think I was planning on streaming a bit longer, but I'm done with the menu. I'm done with the menu now, and that was a lot quicker than I thought it would be. Okay. Right. I'm probably gonna end the stream there, actually. Yeah. Because I've done everything I kind of wanted to do, and all of that. So I'm not sure what else I will really want to do. So yeah, thank you for all those who did tune in, and hope you enjoyed watching the stream. I think it was probably going to be a bit boring. Then I'm going to probably upload this to the YouTube channel as well later. So yeah, thanks for dropping in, and I shall see you guys later.